My name is Marc Stoecker, and I'm a Senior Learning and Development Specialist at Involve Media. Today we'll be talking about adding and adjusting a table of contents in Adobe Captivate. Did you know that Captivate automatically generates a table of contents, and that the order and organization of the slides is preserved in the project in the table of contents? Well, let's access the table of contents and take a closer look. Under Project, go to Table of Contents. And as you can see, here's the table of contents that's been auto-generated, but it's actually not being displayed within the project itself. The user or the learner won't be able to see it unless you select Show TOC. You can adjust the look and feel of the table of contents bar here by selecting a different skin. Maybe you want to pick something that would be reminiscent of the colors of the actual project. So let's look at something such as maybe cool blue. You might also notice that in this list here, on the overlay of the table of contents, that some of the names are truncated. What you can do to adjust that for the learner is to double-click on the name and then insert a different name that's shorter. And as you can see, it instantaneously updates in this overlay, so now you can see the entire title. Something else you can do is indent some of the titles if they're part of a group. So for example, vehicle inspection is all part of the same group, so I'm going to select all these slides, titles, and I'm going to indent them, and a new topic name appears, grouping these different slide titles into one section. I'm going to name that section Inspections. And as you can see in the overlay, that's also reflected here and how the user will see the new menu option. One thing I want to mention is if you make a mistake and go back to the beginning of the default of this interface, you can select this button here and that resets everything to what it was originally. Now let's dig a little deeper and select the Settings tab. I'm going to move this out of the way so we can still see the main overlay. And as you can see, there's a number of options here. We're going to explore most of these. The style, in terms of how the table of contents shows up, will be separate from your content. You can still see all of the content on the stage here, and the table of contents is on the left side. So if your project is 800 by 600, this table of contents in the separate setting would extend outward from the project itself. If I select Overlay, it's now over-encompassing the part of the content here, but you'll notice there's a little bit of a dark spot here. This allows you to expand or collapse the table of contents, so that's another option. You can also decide if you want to position the table of contents on the left or the right side. Under Runtime Options, you have a number of different options. You saw earlier that these different subtopics are under the main topic of inspections. You can decide if you want the default to be collapsed. So those 4 or 5 different slide titles are under inspections, and the user has the option to expand that or not. Self-paced learning, that allows the system to track where the user is going. So when they come back, there'll be a tick mark, and that can be displayed by selecting status flag. So the user can go ahead and come back in, be placed to where they were before, and also have a tick mark or breadcrumb by selecting the status flag. Another feature is enabling the navigation. If you have the navigation enabled, the user can jump around between the different slides. But if you select Navigate Visited Slides Only, if the user wants to select slides they haven't visited yet in a series, maybe 1 through 10 modules, they'll only be able to go to module 3 if that's the number of modules they've completed. Also, if you want to adjust some of the titling or the coloring of the bar itself, in addition to the overall theme that we changed earlier to cool blue, you can do that. So if I want to change the color of the menu items, maybe I want something that's a little more in alignment with what I see here, I can select maybe one of these dark blues, and voila, if you look closely, you can see that the titles are now that darker purplish blue. And again, you can mess with a number of the other colors based on your preference. Maybe you have corporate standards. So you have some options there. Just to circle back on the table of contents style, if you have separate selected and the table of contents is separate from the content, you might notice this little space here, and it might be greater in size if you have less menu items. If you select Stretch TOC, that will then expand the table of contents to fill that section there. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and have a great afternoon.
Thank you for spending time with our team at Involve Media. You can find more information on our company and service offerings at involvedmedia.com or by emailing us at sales@involvedmedia.com.